name is Brian. I am CTO and co-founder of Sixfold, and we make AI for insurance underwriting. So probably most of you don't know much about insurance underwriting, what it is, even if you've heard of it. So let me try to explain it in just a moment. Let's say that you have started a company and you need to buy some insurance for that company. Maybe it's to protect your office, or you need cyber insurance or something like that. So you're going to go to a broker, and that broker is going to represent you with a bunch of different insurance carriers and try to find the best fit for you, the best product and price for your need. On the carrier side, the people who actually provide the insurance, they're going to look at your submission and try to decide if it's within their risk appetite, if it feels like a good policy for them to issue, and are they going to make money on it, and are they going to be able to give you the product and service that you need. The person at the carrier who's going to look at your case and make this decision is called an underwriter, and their job is to do risk analysis. They basically want to understand if you are going to cost the company more in claims, then you're going to generate revenue for them in premiums. So we help them make that decision. This is a hard job. It requires a lot of work, a lot of effort. There's a lot of kind of tedious manual work involved in it, and a lot of it is language-based. It's about, the typical underwriter might read something like 10 novels worth of material every week, and they have to extract a bunch of very specific, detailed facts, and then make a risk decision based on what they found, or in some cases didn't find. So it's a tough job, and back right around the time that ChatGPT launched in 23, we had the insight that LLMs could help underwriters sort through all this information, find those needles in the haystack, and make the best version of the decision for your insurance submission. So we've been around for about 2.5 years, and the results are positive for our customers. We're seeing them the underwriters reclaiming a bunch of their time, which they can then use to do more business. Maybe they weren't able to process all the submissions that came into their inbox, and now they can. Or maybe they use that time to go develop new business for the company, or make more strategic risk decisions around their entire portfolio. But we're also generating more revenue for the carriers because those underwriters have been able to become more productive. So just a couple of numbers. In the last 2.5 years, we've ingested 40 million documents provided by submitters. We have processed 1 million submissions, and we've saved underwriters 25,000 hours of their time. We work with some of the world's biggest insurance companies. You probably recognize some of the names on the screen, and so we're globally focused and are moving from Europe and Australia to Latin America and other countries around the world. Here are some of the logos of the tech we use. I'm sure you recognize many of them. Some of them are very familiar technology to you, and others are probably new and exciting. A lot of them are AI focused. And a quick look at the architecture of our app. Most of the magenta box here that you can see is written in either Ruby or TypeScript, as you might imagine. That agents box is written in Python today. Not proud of that fact. My co-founder and I, when we started the company, we split the work. He was the lead AI engineer, and I was the lead product engineer, and we each picked our stack that we were most comfortable with. So we have had a bifurcated monolith, as I like to call it, part of it written in Ruby and part in Python. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes. But first, I'm going to give you a look at what the product actually looks like. So here we're looking at a case. In Sixfold, we call it a case to analyze a property insurance submission. So a company has come to our customer, the carrier, to decide if that carrier is the right fit for offering them property insurance. So the first thing you'll notice here is our numeric appetite match score. Now, the interesting thing about these carriers is each one of them has its own particular risk appetite, the types of risk it's willing to take on. Here's a crude example. We will underwrite farms, but we won't underwrite cannabis farms, right? That's a simple example of the types of guidelines that an insurance business would have. So what we've done is on a scale of 0 to 5, told the underwriter, we think that this policy might be a good fit, but you're going to probably need to dig in and make some choices here. If it was a 0, it'd be a hard decline immediately. If it was a 5, it'd be a no-brainer to take that on to quoting. Down here, you can see some of the risk signals that we have surfaced from this insured this submitter's documents. So you can see some of them are negative signals that do not match the carrier's risk appetite. Others are positive. So on net, this seems like it could be a good risk. You can see more details about the risk and drill into the source material. So this allows the underwriter to answer any, to address any ambiguity or answer any questions or look for what might be a source of discrepancy. And then down here, you can see our narrative where we kind of pull together all of the risk signals that we found, and we tell a story about it. This is where the big time savings come in for the underwriter. We save underwriters typically an hour or two of work on each submission by packaging this narrative for them. They're going to use this primarily either to record the reasoning that helped them make a decision on a submission, or they're going to send it to maybe their boss or some higher authority if they need to refer this case because they don't have the authority to actually make a decision on it. Tiny quick peek behind the scenes. This is how we, this is a simple view of how we model each carrier's individual risk appetite. So this is essentially how we are parameterizing our agents to be able to make the kinds of decisions that that the underwriter would do without our help. And this is, this is part of our special sauce, is being able to take a carrier's risk guideline manual and turn it into a data model that our agents can consume and use to do their analysis. So I mentioned earlier that we're using Python for AI, and that's an artifact of starting this company 2.5 years ago. If I was starting it today, with the tools that we have available with, for example, Ruby LLM, which we saw yesterday afternoon here, I would write the whole thing in Ruby. But we have a considerable investment in a bunch of existing agents written in Python, and we're going to continue to use those and start to work in more Ruby AI over time where we can. What we'd like to see next, building on the success of Ruby LLM and other tools, is some of these things on the right that we have found in the last couple of years we need in order to build complex multi-agent systems. So things like being able to model agents as different kinds of graphs and execute those graphs in distributed fashion across lots of nodes in parallel with the right reliability and with kind of dynamic sizing of tasks and so forth. We need something that wraps that up in a very simple and easy to use package and be able to write all that in Ruby. We need built-in agent tracing so that just like in Python or TypeScript, you can go use your Datadog or your OTel application to be able to look at the trace of how a complex agent moves through its decision process, calls tools, and gets to its output. And we also need really high-level, out-of-the-box support for all the emerging agent protocols, because we're moving into a world where it's not just humans talking to AI agents. The agents are talking to each other and doing business on behalf of humans. And so we need easy ways to enable that. So we at Sixfold are going to try and contribute to the community in these areas over time. But also, that's my plea to everybody here. If you're interested in this kind of work, it would definitely have a ton of value. So, we are, just like many others, we are hiring. We're always looking for great people who want to build cool things with Ruby and in the AI space. So if you're interested in that, find me or email me. Let's talk. Thank you.